All right, what up, y'all? So today, what I want to do is talk about what I believe is Drake's first mistake in this beef. So, just to give some context and some background, kind of to who I am one of those that believed in the big three for a very long time. Those Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole have been my three favorite artists since 2009, basically. When I started to look at Drake a little differently was around 2018. Obviously, the Pusha T beef, the cover for Story of Adidon, the story of, Adonis and how he became to be and how that was exposed to us uh, prematurely. Um, that whole situation, hearing Jaden on Scorpion, I didn't like him talking about old enough, but you're still a baby, and high school pics, you was even bad then. Started looking at him a little sideways, and then, people start sending me stuff about Millie Bobby and all that stuff. So I started to look at Drake a little differently in 2018, but I've always wanted that stuff to not be true and for him to drop good music and specifically raps because unlike Kendrick, I do like Drake when he acts tough. So we're going to get into push ups, but I want to paint the picture of where I was physically. So me and my brother talk. He's a huge Drake fan, and so here's a screenshot of one of our messages. It's just kind of to drive a point home. I like to keep receipts, so I told him, I said, I think Drake should wait at least until after the Future Metro album drops. Like, give him a surprise drop Saturday night. So, for reference, the Future Metro album drops Thursday night into Friday morning, like a lot of music does. It's the start of streaming or something like that, midnight, right at Friday. And so the second we still don't trust you was still slated to come out that Friday. And I thought, well, Drake should wait until Saturday night and drop what I said was one verse shitting on their victory lap. So I just wanted to pull that out because that's kind of what happened. So Saturday rolls, we don't trust you too, or we still don't trust you comes out, and you get All to Myself with The Weeknd, Red Leather with J. Cole, and Show of Hands with ASAP Rocky. And then Saturday comes around and we get what happens is push ups. But we don't get it officially. He doesn't drop it on Instagram. He doesn't drop it on Plot Twist, which we don't even have yet. Uh, it's not put out on streaming services, not YouTube. This leak comes out. And me and my fiance are out at the City Foundry and we're getting a bite to eat. We're shopping around and I start seeing Twitter and Instagram talk about Drake dropped, Drake dropped, Drake dropped. I'm looking on YouTube, nothing, Spotify, nothing, Instagram, nothing. So I'm looking for it and I'm like, where the hell is this? And I'm the type of person, I try not to listen to leaks because I like to take music as it is given to me by the artist. Um, I at least try to stay away from leaks as much as I can. Some of them are unavoidable and you can't get around it, but this one I was like, I don't want to listen to it until, Drake drops it. And so we're eating and Twitter's still going crazy, quoting the bars and saying this is real, this is real. And so I'm like, all right, like I got to hear it. So I click one of the links in the tweets. It's got tons of views. It might have been this one. Let's see what the date is on this. April 13th, 2024. That can't be right. Is this the day that it came out on Spotify? Are people celebrating the wrong anniversary date? Well, I don't know. But what had happened was there was some AI versions going around, and Kendrick had an AI diss, Owl Hunting, and this Drake diss came out, and it was AI.
Six need an exorcist. That little nigga don't know a big step in this. Came out the shadows to prove that he relevant. See me and Cole running shit like a pillow. This stride ain't enough to be stepping to me. That name dropping shit.
He definitely didn't say "see you in court." He said "see me and Cole running shit like a Peloton." That name dropping shit ain't impressive to me.
It
You
ain't
pussy,
impressive
it
to
took
me.
you a
You
decade to
pussy, it
speak.
took you a decade to speak. The K got a dot, knock your head off your shoulders, man. Fuck all them Grammys, I'm best in the league.
Whoever wrote these AI disses was going crazy because Owl Hunting went nuts too. And so AI disses were dropping like crazy. Nobody knew what was real. I mean, that really didn't sound like Drake, and the Kendrick one didn't really sound like Kendrick, but they were going viral like they were real disses. So when this drops on YouTube and I'm sitting at the foundry and I kind of put it up to my ear and I'm like, this kind of sounds like shit. And so I'm like, all right, we'll just wait till we get in the car. And we get in the car, and I'm like, all right, this is the supposed Drake diss. So I'm already going into it with like a, all right, like what is this? Like, is this real? Is this AI? It kind of sounded like shit, but there was a lot of people around, so let's see how it goes. So we go ahead and hit play. I said that's real. I heard that sigh. I said that's real. That's got to be real. That was my first thought.
Look, I could never be nobody number one fan.
The Get Money sample. I'm like, okay, that's kind of hard, but the way he comes on the record sounds slow, sounds lazy, sounds like AI or like a reference track or something like that. So already my energy's kind of low when listening to this. I like the Get Money, I like the sigh, but I'm like, something's off here. Like, I know Drake sometimes has a lazy flow, but when he does like his luxurious raps, but something was off here. I didn't know what it was yet.
Your first number one, I had to put it in your hand. You pussies can't get booked outside America for nan. I'm out in Tokyo because I'm big in Japan.
I was not thinking of this in the frame of he's dissing everyone that dissed him yet. I don't think he's talking to Weekend, Future, Metro, none of that. I was like, this is a Kendrick diss. So I'm like, you pussies can't get booked outside America for Nan. Like, what is that? Like, all right.
I'm the hit maker, y'all depend on. Tough on record in my city, it was friend zone.
And then in the original or the official version, he says, backstage in my city, it was friend zone. And here he says, tough on record in my city, it was friend zone. So that is something that's different from the original, but we don't know that yet. So this is what I thought was, could have been fake, could have been AI. And at this point, I'm like, all right, this is starting to sound a lot more real than at least the tracks that I heard before, but something still sounds off.
You won't never take no chain over us. How the fuck you been stepping with a size 7 man zone?
Like, now that you know the official version and the one that we all listen to, or I still listen to it, I don't care. I listen to that in the gym all the time. Uh, the delivery on these lines, that size seven line was hit with so much better delivery on the official one.
This the bark with the bite, nigga, what's up? I know my picture on the wall when I cook up. Extortion, baby, whole career, you been shook up. This top, so you drop and give me 50 like some push-ups. Yo.
And I immediately thought of Kendrick doing push-ups in the video, and I'm like, all right, like that's kind of funny. Like, I didn't think it was a good angle going at the contracts and stuff like that, but because I knew that, that could easily be flipped back on Drake. But I thought that the push-ups joke was funny. I thought the size 7 joke was funny. Anytime he called Kendrick small or a midget, it's hilarious. I don't care.
Last one brick, you really not on shit. They make excuses for you cause they hate to see me lit. Pull your contract cause we gotta see the split. Hey, the way you doing splits, bitch, your pants might rip. You better do that motherfucking show inside the biddy. Maroon 5 need a verse, you better make it witty. Then we need a verse for the Swifties. Top say drop, you better drop and give them 50.
At this point, I was fully convinced this is real, but the delivery is lazy. The delivery feels slow. The delivery feels very lackluster. So here I wasn't really all that impressed. I thought the jokes were funny. Like, I thought the Maroon 5 was funny. I thought the Taylor Swift bar was funny. The push-ups are hilarious. The short jokes, all that stuff. But the delivery, I was like, yo, he better not try to come like this against Kendrick, because one thing Kendrick will not mess up is that delivery. So I was thinking like, I don't know, this might not be enough.
Pip squeak, pipe down. You ain't in no
Pip
big
squeak.
race. SZA got you white down. Travis got you white down. Savage got you white down.
So SZA, Travis, and Savage getting Kendrick wiped down, I thought was the most hilarious shit ever. And I was like, wrong. Kind of like when Cole was talking about Kendrick's discography. Your first shit was, or your last shit was tragic. Your first shit was classic. Your second shit put us to sleep, but they gassed it. Your third shit was massive, or your fourth shit was massive, and that was your prime. I was like, he's doing the Jay-Z Nas thing, but that's funny because they classics, Cole, and you know it. And it's like, maybe in Drake's world, Savage and Travis Scott have Kendrick wiped down, but in real life, that's just not what it is. So I like the lies like that. These were my favorite types of lies on record. Was, hey, your album that everyone hails as a classic is horrible, And SZA and Travis Scott and 21 Savage are better than you and bigger than you. Got you wiped down. The Interscope, like we knew that was coming. Knew that was coming. Aftermath, like we knew that was coming. I had to hike down. So here, I chuckled at that. I thought that was pretty funny. But the whole time, I'm waiting for the energy to build up. I'm waiting for more. But we're going to get more into what he says and what he changes, what he ends up changing on the track that comes out next. Yeah, I'm a six guy, I'm the front runner. Y'all nigga manager was Chubb's little blunt runner. See, and here I'm like, I don't know who managers and their Canadian drama that they got going on. I thought this was all thrown at Kendrick. So on first listen, I'm not catching every single bar, and I'm like, I don't know how this applies to Kendrick. Playing the six and you boys ain't even come from it. And when you boys got rich, you had to run from it. Cash blowing able bread out here tricking. And when he says cash blowing able bread out here tricking, I'm like, oh, Cash. I was like, I didn't know who Cash was. And but I was like, he said Abel though. So I'm like, all right, that's direct. And this is obviously another it was another good solidification that this was a real record, that this was coming from Drake, because he starts talking spicy. I know he wrote a couple of these bars with his feet in the air, and we'll talk about that in a second. But let's go ahead and get into these lyrics. Spinning like you trying to fuck, boy, you tripping. Drizzy Chippendale probably got your bitch Chanel. I just got him done, boy, don't make me have to chip a nail. I just got him done, boy, don't make me have to chip a nail. I was like, Drake, why did you say that? Like, why did you say that? That was one of the first mistakes. There's a lot of mistakes that we talked about leading up to this with the AIs and even that just being a thing and then having this leaked. There was a theory that I'll get to at the end that kind of paints it in his favor. But originally, I'm like, I don't like that this came out like this. And the delivery's lackluster. Something's missing here. And I'm like, I don't know what it is. So when Kendrick said he's snatching chains and burning tattoos, it's up. I was like, okay, like that's some talk. That's some talk. And then when Drake went and flipped it and said, I'll be rocking every fucking chain I own next visit, I was like, oh, they're talking very, very spicy here and very, tough guy, violent shit. Luckily it never came to that, or it hasn't yet. But I thought the flip of the line was really good. So I was like, all right, we're cooking with the lyrics a little bit. And I go, who's Whitney? And I thought about it for a second, and I look. And, if I would have just thought for a little bit longer, I probably would have been able to remember more of Mr. Morale and him mentioning Whitney throughout his career. But immediately I'm just like, who the hell is Whitney? Like, who did you just name drop? And I look up Kendrick Lamar Whitney, and I'm like, bro, it is his wife, isn't it? Oh my God. And I was like, why would you do that? Did you not just learn from saying, I'm going to let it ring on you like Virginia Williams? Such unnecessary bars that obviously this is a lot of what people paint as Drake's true first mistake here. But honestly, my first mistake, and the title of the video is Drake's first mistake is not what you think. It's not the Whitney bar. What happened before the Whitney bar is for 2 minutes and 17 seconds, I'm sitting here like, yo, something's missing. And I don't like that I'm listening to this on a random YouTube track. I don't like that that's what everyone's reacting to, but they're saying it's the track. It sounds like him. He did the sigh. The bars sound like he wrote them. And yeah, I was sitting here kind of waiting for something to happen. I was waiting for more energy. I was waiting for that delivery. I was waiting for some of the energy that you see in this picture here. And then he gets to this part, and I'm like, oh, this better not be real. This better not be real. And he calls him a midget again, which I love that he quadrupled down on that. You should have just stuck that. Like, you sandwich that in between bars that were, that's fine. But, like, it was just so unnecessary to mention Whitney's name.
Better drop and give me 50, ayy. Drop and give me 50. Drop and give me 50. Niggas really got me out here talking like I'm 50, ayy. Niggas really got me out here rapping what I'm living.
All right, so now we're gonna start getting into stuff that he changed. A lot of people are gonna do the other track, so I'm not gonna do the other track. I might start it just to show the energy difference, but here is when we're gonna get into lyrics that he changed. And honestly, I wish he would have kept most of this stuff in here, and we're gonna talk about it.
I might take the latest girl and cuff her like I'm Ricky. Can't believe he jumping in, this nigga turning 50. Every song that made it on the chart, he got from Drizzy. Worry about whatever going on with you and
Whoa, whoa. Worry about whatever going on with you and who, Rick Ross? Hey, we know some other things about some other people in that same camp that were at the you know whose house doing the you know what's, but I don't know why he took this out. And we could talk about it in Rick Ross's video with his hidden hills on his back. And there's, look that up. I'm not gonna go into it here, but yeah, we know there's some people on the side of Maybach, the Double M group that has been over to the you know whose house. Let's just say that. Why would you not keep that in there? Worry about whatever going on with you and that's crazy. I don't know why you wouldn't keep that in there. Allegedly. I say, who's the hooper that be busting out the John Morant? I know why you mad. I'm like, bro, there's only one reason why Drake would be dissing John Morant. That's another mistake. What are we doing, man? Lucky that your dog little BM doesn't kiss and tell. Why is that your thing on everybody? We start asking questions that I was asking back in 2018. Like, yo, what's wrong with this guy, man? Like, come on, dude. What are we doing? I ain't even rapping after this. I'm way too busy. Didn't like that either. And that fucking song y'all got is not starting beef with us. And that fucking song y'all got is not starting beef with us. It's like my favorite bar of the whole song. I know when I said he wrote some bars with his feet up in the air, I know he wrote that bar with his feet up in the air. And that fucking song y'all got is not starting beef with us. Just to let you know, I've been mad for a very long time. This shit been brewing in a pot, now I'm heating up. I don't care what Cole think, that dot shit was weak as fuck. I don't care what Cole think, that dot shit was weak as fuck. Alright. J. Cole did get up on Dreamville Fest stage and say, y'all know that nuke that dropped on the whole rap game a couple weeks ago. Drake says it was weak as fuck. Champagne tripping, he is not fucking easing up. Nigga caught up top to see a top, wanna piece it up. Top, wanna piece it up. Top, wanna piece it up. Nah, pussy, now you on your own when you speaking up. That I just straight up didn't believe, that Kendrick's gonna drop something as aggressive as like that and then call Top to piece it up before Drake even gets a chance to respond. Like, that didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, this dude's been wanting to say your name. He's been wanting you to say his name. He's been wanting to say your name for 15 years. Like, there's no way you're going to turn back on it the minute that it finally happens. But, yeah. So that didn't make any sense to me. So I was like, I don't know what all that is. So not fucking deep enough. All right, this is where he really switches all the lyrics. None of this shit was in the new one. Bros turn to hoes, man, like I ain't got enough of those. Again, that's the same criticism I had a second ago, but I mean, you can't tell me that that's not a fire bar. Like, as much as I'm critiquing this, like I said, I still bump this in the gym all the time. As much as I don't like, or I disagree with SZA, Travis, and Savage being better than Kendrick, that's one of my favorite parts to rap. SZA got you wiped down. Savage got you wiped down. Like the label, boy, you in a scope right now. Like, I like rapping that part in the gym, or like I don't be rapping it out loud in the gym, but in the car, like whatever. Like, it's hard. Like, I like the song, the official version. And I think if this was mixed, mastered, and delivered with Drake that was awake, then I think this one probably could have had the chance to be the better record, especially with the different Rick Ross bar. I mean, I guess he still could have thrown Axe sample in at the end and dropped the drop, 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 drop.
I can't wait to see how far you niggas get to reaching now. This the
He should have just stuck to that. I can't wait to see how far y'all get to reaching now. He should have just stuck with that. Like, y'all are reaching, everything you're doing is cap, whatever. Like, him directly addressing certain things, I think, is also what was a downfall later on.
closest thing you niggas getting to a feature now. Back to
This is the closest thing y'all getting to a feature now. I mean, fire. I mean, they've been calling for the features, so haha, you can't have none no more. I guess don't work with nobody no more. I mean, fire, fire. If they're gonna team up and diss you, then yeah, I get it. I get it.
pedal gang, cause a few of y'all been reaching out. Y'all drew the line. What the fuck we gotta speak about? Get your fucking head tapped, you niggas get to peeking out. You had a song for 4 years, drop that shit or shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, nigga.
You had that shit for 4 years. Drop that shit or shut your mouth.
It's me twice in my big three, I had to leave you out.
More big three flips.
Fucking dumbass nigga.
Who Kid in hindsight is definitely a mistake. But listen to just the first bar to the way that he delivers this. Even like it's obviously a I'm not gonna pronounce it crazy, but the P that he said on that, the you like you spit on the mic, and that was my problem with Family Matters. He didn't spit on the mic enough. I want to hear you pussies can't get booked outside America for Nan. Sorry for the algorithm and my family watching, but when you enunciate words like that, that is what was missing on the original leak. And so obviously this leaks. It's people are talking about it. It's going crazy. People are quoting it. And then finally he sends the official version to Ack, and Ack said he got a DM or a text or email from the boy saying, "Here's the official version." And we hear all that. We hear the academics drop. So this is where we get the academics drop and Drake begging Kendrick to drop. And people hung on to this for a while because you got to remember it was a long time, but until Kendrick responded. And we can go through this if you want. I made a rap 2024 timeline. This playlist is public and available on my page. As you can see, there's 159 videos on it because I added one yesterday with the Gatorade commercial. But it starts all the way up at Kendrick Lamar Determined, where he says that ironically Whitney's listening to Drake and he said, "These boys that much better than me, baby." And I included collabs, so I included In the Morning, I included Fucking Problems, Forbidden Fruit, little interview snippets. Let's see. I included just sometimes J. Cole was talking spicy or mention names, and a lot of the subs that we see. So you see All the Stars is in there. Kendrick and J. Cole on American Dream is in there. But, we'll go through how long it took Kendrick to respond and people hanging on to that drop, 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 drop. And people were like, yo, he's begging him. This ain't even everything I know. Don't wake the demon up. What does he have on Kendrick? And it was before the Family Matters dropped that some stuff started leaking and started getting on Twitter like, oh, this he was accused of this, and they asked him about it on Breakfast Club, and so we can get into all that. But yeah, I did make a full timeline of the beef, starting all the way back then, and then going all the way to the no, that shouldn't be on there. All the way to the Gatorade commercial yesterday. The tailor-made one always keeps getting brought down, so I try to put a new one up there whenever I see that it's getting brought down. But we'll go ahead and we'll go through this. I'll do champagne moments next, but yeah, this version of push-ups I thought was really good. I thought it was a proper diss. Aside from the Whitney bar, I just did not understand why he had to do that. Like, why did you have to mention her name in any sort of insinuating way that you got some information on her, that you did something with her, that you know something about her? So I didn't like that. I didn't think it was necessary. It obviously proved to be his downfall later on, but the big point of me dropping this one and wanting to talk about it was the version that, we were debating if it was even real for the first, couple hours that it was out. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about on this one. So I might do another one real quick on champagne moments just to kind of get a couple thoughts in on that, but I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.